Hailey Reese, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am so grateful that you are here, and I hope that you are having an absolutely fantastic morning, afternoon, or night, whatever it is for you when this video finally reaches you. Today's video is a little bit of a test on two different levels, one of which being my background. Now, if you've been watching my recent videos, you would know that ever since I moved here to my new condo, I've kind of went back and forth with like a million different ideas as to where I want to film in here, what I want the background to look like, and the overall theme, the overall non-negotiable in a new background is that I want it to bring you guys peace and calm. I want both myself and my energy and the energy of my space to be very high vibrational, because we do dive into some really dark cases and investigations and things of the sorts that I, at the very least, want to bring you peace and comfort and light in myself and the visuals of my videos. In my last video, I kind of tried out the starry lights that I have behind my pink chair that I've been filming in. I absolutely love that nook beyond words. It's such a nice space to like meditate, journal, read, all of the above. But I wasn't totally sold on it as a background. Let me know if you think differently, but I just wasn't totally sold. So I thought that today we would try something a little bit new. So I'm both testing the new background and testing the audio, because I've never filmed in this section of my condo before. So this is new for me. Definitely let me know in the comment section what you think of this. Also, this is very up close in comparison to how I've been filming. I've been filming a lot further back. So I would also love to know if you guys like this, if it feels more personal, like intimate, or if you like to be a little further back. I would love to know all of your thoughts and opinions down below. I will not be offended either way. I am open to suggestions and criticism, but if you do like it, I would also love to know that as well. But as we are talking about comfort and light and high vibration, we are gonna jump into today's video that is none of the above. This is a really, really eerie case and encounter, and the more that I dug into it, the more that I couldn't stop thinking about it. And whenever I dig into encounters and cases of that nature, I feel as though it's so important to bring here on my channel and talk about it. And also, I just love reading through your guys' comments and, you know, hearing all of your different theories. Make sure to have your post notifications on if you do enjoy my content, because definitely the first hour of every single new video post that I post, every single new video that I upload, I read through all of the comments and respond to as many as possible. But yeah, before we get into today's story though, I am so excited to share two things with you guys, one of which being Daily Hailey, my second channel, my vlog channel, is about to be back and better than ever. Within like the next day or two, vlogs are gonna be posted on there, crazy videos, all of the above. So make sure to head on over there and subscribe, leave some comments on the videos that I have up now. I'll be responding to them. And trust me, if you guys enjoy me and want to see a glimpse into my life and who I am on a daily basis, I would love to have you there over on Daily Hailey. So make sure to go subscribe. It would mean the absolute world to me. And I am going to be extremely active on Instagram. I have some crazy things coming up, so you'll get the sneak peek there first. So make sure to follow me on Instagram if you are not yet. And I really, really can't wait to see you guys there. But without further ado, let's get into this video. Today's case is absolutely bone chilling. Now, if you've been on my channel for a while, you probably already know this, but I was a twin when my mom first got pregnant with me. And unfortunately, I know there's a term for it, but past the first trimester, I had essentially taken all of the nutrients and my twin no longer developed. But for years, and even now, I always wondered what it would be like to be a twin. I grew up around a lot of twins, and it was always interesting to see the twins that were so similar and the twins that couldn't be more opposite. But as I got older and I learned about evil twins and the concept of there being another you, an evil twin in an alternate dimension or a parallel universe or anything of the sorts, I found that really fascinating as well. And I kind of wondered, like, what would be the opposite of me? Apparently, I wasn't alone because there are tons of people who not only are fascinated by the concept of an evil twin, but that have been performing rituals and praying out to meet this evil twin, this evil version of themselves. Now, before we get into this particular experience, I kind of want to explain why people have done this, or at least the main reason that people want to do this. There are two different views as to what this is. There's a thrill-seeking view on, I'm so curious to meet my evil twin. What are they like? I want to summon them from the other universe or the parallel universe or alternate dimension. And for the thrill of it, the scare of it, the creepy factor of it. But then there are people who view it as a spell or a ritual to see the darkness that lies within you that you may suppress or you may need to face. So it's like seeing the bad parts of you in order to better the good of you. They look at it from that perspective. So as an example, if I were to do it with that end result in mind, I would do the ritual hoping to see the parts of me that I suppress or the parts of me that I haven't come to terms with or I ignore or I don't want to see. So maybe if you're a jealous person, you will see the alternate version of yourself, the evil twin of you, as this jealous, possessive person. And it may slap you right in the face as far as seeing what you need to work on. So there is a positive avenue that people try to take in doing this. But again, there's also the perspective of, let me see this dark version of myself, this evil version, this demonic version of myself. So this particular encounter starts with a girl who has highly requested to remain anonymous. So for the sake of today's video, I'm gonna pick a name for her and we are gonna go with Alicia. My cousin's name is actually Alicia. So Alicia, if you are watching this, chef's kiss, I stole your name. But Alicia came from a bloodline of self-proclaimed witches. Now, I've wanted to do a video on the reality of witchcraft and real-life witches for years now, and the reason that I prolonged it is because there is so much that goes into it. There is such a misconception surrounding magic and witchcraft and what it stands for and what the true definition of a modern day witch looks like, and the many definitions of modern day witchcraft as well. But I've yet to dive into that video because there is so much information and so much that I want to cover, and I know that it will be controversial, but definitely keep your eyes peeled for that in the coming weeks. But her family practiced witchcraft for the greater good. Now, I'm sure that you have heard this before, but it is so beyond true that there is no such thing as bad magic, and there's no such thing as good magic. There is simply magic, and it is all in the intent of the individual practicing it. Meaning, I can take a spell or a ritual or a practice and want to do for the greater good of the world. That would be considered light magic or good magic. But if I were to sit down and try to do something to cause harm on somebody else, that is now black magic. The idea of magic, the magic itself, remains the same. It's vibrational, it's intention, it is an energy, but how it is utilized is what defines it. And so again, Alicia came from a bloodline of women in particular who practice magic for the greater good of their family and humanity. So for an example, something that she would explain that her family would do is if there was a crisis in the world, they would all come together and practice healing and putting out that vibration and that energy throughout their practice of rituals and magic to put more light out into the world, more healing into the world, and more positive vibrational frequencies. And Alicia always believed in all of this because she was raised by such powerful, strong women who believed that vibration is everything and vibration is magical. They would constantly remind her that intention is everything, that what you put out, you will get back for better or worse. But Alicia, as she got older, became more and more curious about the what ifs of what was out there. She was just fascinated by it all, and she said that she found herself in a rabbit hole of just going through all corners of the internet, all corners of her family's library, just trying to educate herself on how much more lives beyond our physical dimension, our physical reality here. And somehow or another, she stumbled upon the idea of parallel universes and alternate versions of ourselves. Now, I want to do a whole video in and of that subject. I think that it is so fascinating that in an alternate reality, there could be a version of myself on a completely different path. I recently watched a movie on all of this that got my wheels turning in my mind, and let's just say that is a rabbit hole that is so fascinating, but you will drive yourself crazy real quick. So stay tuned for my video on it naturally. Anyways, and one of the things that she found herself down a rabbit hole on was the idea that out there energetically, perhaps on another plane or another dimension, exists a darker version of yourself, an evil twin of yourself. Now, like I had mentioned, there are different reasons for summoning and calling upon said evil twin. Apparently, she was reading through the articles on seeing the mirror version of the darkness within you and being able to heal that within yourself and come to terms with that. So she became fascinated with the idea and the concept of calling upon this evil twin, whether it be within her or, energetically, and being able to face those dark parts of herself in the name of light in order to heal those parts of herself and her past traumas and the emotional traumas that had kind of created that version of her, and to be able to release it. So she began a week-long rabbit hole of just going through all the different information, the different practices, the different ways that she could reach out to this evil twin. And the one that she had settled on was essentially writing to this version of herself and then praying for it to come forth to her. And one place that she felt as though she was most connected was within her dreams. So with her intentions, she was going to write out, what she wanted from this experience, say a prayer to this evil twin, go to sleep, and then be shown these parts of herself that clearly need some work. Now, as I just mentioned, she was a very vivid dreamer prior to this. I am also a very vivid dreamer. Nights that I don't dream, I wake up and I'm like, what did I just do for the past 8 hours? Like, where was I? Because I didn't see anything. So I can understand why after the first couple of nights of getting nothing, she was kind of confused by all of it. So she started calling out to any darker version of her to come forward and to show itself to her. And this time, she says that she didn't specify her reasoning why. So in the prior night, she said it because I want to work on myself. I want it to be for the greater good. I want it in the name of light and love. Whatever her terminology that she used, whatever resonated with her, that was how she was communicating. And in this particular night, she was just so ready to face this. She had read so many experiences by people who had had these like life-altering moments with the darkness within them that had shifted them to like this higher vibration. She was ready to have it too. And so in her lack of patience, she was just like, any dark version of me, come to me. And that night, she did have a dream. But in this dream, this version of herself came to her, but was unrecognizable. She said that she should have known something was a little bit off from the beginning, because when she looked into the eyes of her evil twin, it didn't look twin-like at all to her. She didn't see any of herself in those eyes. But because of the nature of the work and what she'd read up on, she felt as though, well, perhaps I wouldn't recognize that darkness in me or that dark version of me because that's not what I aim to be. That's not who I am. That's not a vibrational match to me. So perhaps that's why I'm not resonating with it. But throughout this, it would begin to tell her that she was more powerful than she even knew, and essentially encouraging her to dig deeper in her craft and use her powers to go for all of those who had wronged her. Again, her family never practiced or dabbled in the dark side of any sort of practices. And this was weird to her because she felt as though even if it is the dark version of her, surely it's still a version of her. And that was not in any fiber of her being. Her family, despite practicing what they did not dabble in any harm towards anybody else. They believed strongly in karma and karma taking its toll naturally. And they were also fearful because the minute that you send that out to someone, once you get it back, you get that back tenfold. And this just didn't feel like it was her at all. She said that she was so terrified by the version of herself that she saw that to this day she doesn't even speak about the encounter that she initially had with this version of herself, because speaking about it, she feels she's letting it back in energetically and spiritually, and she's tried to put up these protective blocks ever since. But in the following weeks, she'd be visited by this version of herself multiple times, despite trying to close herself off to it and feeling as though she made a mistake. She said she felt like the energy in her place was very off and that something wasn't right. And it wasn't until one of her aunts showed up at her house one day that she would realize what she had done and the mistake she had made. Her aunt shows up to her door and looks completely frazzled. She is on the edge of her seat. You could tell she had something that she wanted to say, but Alicia was kind of afraid to even ask her, and that was when her aunt asked her what she'd been doing recently, spiritually. Alicia tried to play it off, and the aunt nipped that in the bud right away and told her, "No, I know, I've seen things, I need to hear from you. What did you do?" And Alicia went on and proceeded to tell her how she had prayed for any dark version of her to come and to visit her. Now, when her aunt asked her what she'd done to protect herself, she hadn't done anything differently than her regular practices. But her aunt was trying to explain to her that when practicing something of this magnitude, she needs to be more educated. She should have came to them, and also she needs to do beyond her regular protection. She proceeded to tell her that she had summoned a low vibrational dark entity disguising itself as her and trying to utilize her and her spiritual connection to turn her dark. That the dark version of her that she had summoned was going to become her. Take that in. That was never a dark version of her. That was a dark entity disguising itself as her, trying to turn her into her evil twin, into the dark version of her, trying to convert her to the dark side. She had to do multiple cleansing baths, multiple rituals with her aunts to cleanse her energy, raise her vibration again, and better protect her and her space. But even still to this day, she feels as though if her practices aren't all in a row, if she's not doing what she's supposed to be doing to protect herself, to protect her energy, and to protect her practice, she can feel this outside like whisper kind of calling for her, which is so eerie because cases like this just go to show that the battle of good versus evil is ongoing at all points of life and of all points in general, but that light will always overcome darkness. I've said it before and I will say it again. You just have to be so careful when dabbling with anything spiritual, anything paranormal or unworldly. Obviously, you have to be careful. I myself have at times not protected myself enough, and I have faced the repercussions of that, let's just say, and I will not be making that mistake again. But basically, this is a warning to never pray for an evil version of yourself to come forward. If anything, I would just do some light work and some internal work to face those dark parts of yourself. I'm actually going to talk more about this on my second channel, Daily Hailey, but I've been really big into journaling recently, and unfiltered journaling. Like before, I'll talk more about this on my second channel, but before I was like trying to be so structured with my journal, and now I have this journal that I word vomit onto all of my thoughts, and it has been so therapeutic, and I've been learning so much about myself and the good and the bad within me, the traits that I love about myself and the things that I'm like, could use some improvement, as we all can at times, but definitely be careful with how you face that darkness within you. But that is it for today's video. I am so beyond curious to hear your guys' thoughts on this particular encounter and case. Definitely comment them down below. And that is it for today's video. If you guys are new to my channel or you're just not yet subscribed but you enjoy my content, I would love it if you go ahead and click that subscribe button. And please give this video a big thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Remember, my loves, do all things with kindness. And until next time, I love you. Bye, guys.